Andy, welcome to the show. Hopefully you're feeling a little better maybe after that long weekend with the Derby.
It was a good one. It was a good one. I didn't like the outcome, but sometimes you just...
Hey, some controversy makes it fun, though, sometimes.
Yeah, sometimes. Depends on which side you were on.
Yeah. ROKU. ROKU's been incredible. This is definitely, one of those companies that I know your guys' data really does well with, as the brand is the product that they offer. It's kind of that single service product. What are you guys seeing in the data?
I'm concerned about ROKU going into this call. I think, what our data shows pretty convincingly when you look at purchase intent mentions of ROKU, which is what you see in the green line here. And this is people talking about actually purchasing a ROKU product or installing the platform. And you can see that a really nice trajectory over the many years while the company was private, and then a big ramp up into the IPO. And ever since then, we've been really flat on a year-over-year basis. And I think that could be disappointing for Wall Street. This is one of those companies that's kind of a binary bet. It's one of the market leaders in a expanding space. And so if you think streaming is the future, which I do, and I think streaming will be a really good thing, but ROKU is really well positioned for that. But unfortunately, right now, they've kind of hit some speed bumps after the hyper growth they experienced pre-IPO.
All right, Andy, here's what I want to know, and I think here's what some of our viewers want to know. Who's going to win this? Who are the major players in streaming, and is ROKU the one that, no one wants to choose the one that goes out of business and you got to restart. Who's going to be the winner in the streaming stock if you're going to pick one?
Yeah, that's why I said I think this is a binary bet. I think that ROKU has a very, very good chance of being the winner. When we look at it versus Apple TV, versus Google Chromecast, even Amazon Fire TV, Roku's one of the few that's seeing the kind of growth that you would expect. In fact, the others are kind of declining. And so I think we're kind of at a point now where the early adopters are kind of all in, and now you're at the point where we have to move on from that into the meat of the bell curve, and that gets pretty tricky. And so with the stock up here in the 60s, like you said, over close to 100% up year to date, I think Roku's in for some tough sledding in the near term, but long term, I think this company is set up to be a winner in the streaming space. And then it's a guess, or you have to start thinking about how big is that space going to be.
Andy, I want to bring in Evelyn as we have her in here as well and kind of get her take. As you said, you have a Roku TV, Evelyn.
I do, yes. And I, for the most part, love my Roku TV. It was inexpensive, and it gives me a chance to stream all of my favorite
So did you
content.
save money on your cable bill going from regular cable to Roku?
I don't have cable.
Or
I don't
you never even
I
signed
don't
up?
know. I never signed up for cable.
Okay.
I just have internet because all I do is watch Hulu and Netflix, and I have like the direct TV cable, but to where you stream it. So
Right.
not helpful with that. I'm sorry.
Exactly.
What I really like about Roku right now is how they're sort of building their own ecosystem, which when we talk about ecosystems with technology, we talk a lot about Apple and how they have all of these products working together. And Roku has a player, they call them, which is actually what this Game of Thrones sweepstakes special that they're featuring. They're doing a sweepstakes on Twitter, so getting a lot of engagement right now on social media, where they are offering this player. And that's sort of comparable to a Chromecast or a Fire Stick, like we were talking about. But then they also have those smart TVs, and they also have speakers. So they're really starting this ecosystem to where you can have all of these Roku products at once.
Andy, I have a quick question on this as we have this pulled up here with kind of their smart TV, box that they have. As technology is changing, and basically every TV is going to be smart TV in the future. So I wonder is how much is Roku just kind of almost like a stopgap right now, a filler as TV and technology is just changing into these all smart TVs, or is it that they're making TVs now, or at least partnered with those companies making TVs, and they have that streaming platform? Is that really what you're betting on?
You're betting on that, and I think more importantly than any of this probably is you're betting on Roku as a software company and as a company that can actually become, as Capital Market Labs has put out a couple times, the Facebook of TV, where they are building really comprehensive user profiles so that they can offer advertisers customized personalization advertising options that cable companies cannot offer and regular TV companies and the channels can't offer. And so Roku's doing a really good job on the software side. I think that's the longer term bet with the company beyond the hardware that they offer. I think it's the brains behind their devices and their ability to create a very unique advertising platform for big brands out there.
And when you saw on Twitter something regarding kind of an analyst take too, does that tie in at all to what Andy is mentioning?
Right, definitely. So speaking about taking a bet on the company, Stevens analyst just initiated their coverage of Roku at overweight and set an $84 price target. And in fact, our first tweet speaks to that. It's a quote from the analyst report. Our tweet from Wolf Metric, who says Roku started at overweight at Stevens, $84 price target. I like their long-term industry position as an independent, branded, embedded, and capital-light player at the nexus between smart TVs and an increasingly fragmented streaming video landscape. So to what you were saying, Alex.
I think that's accurate. It's exactly what she's talking about.
Yeah, to me though, it's just a concern as you see the long term. I think Andy really is kind of filling in that piece that maybe I was missing with the software side to it. As just logic says, these devices just are going to be obsolete at some point, but it shows that they're aware of that too, and maybe thinking more of a longer term game plan. But Evelyn, since we're getting close on time too, what you had a second tweet as well.
Yes, our next tweet is from Wes H, who says the remote on my Roku goes out all the time, even with fresh batteries, and it makes me want to short the hell out of them. And I gotta say, having a Roku TV, this actually happens frequently. My TV just goes off randomly a few times a week or so, and I feel like it might be an inherent issue that the company needs to address in order to grow users in the future.
Andy, I see you laughing. Do you have anything to say on that? Do you have a Roku TV as well that?
Well, look, I think that the company is young and it's got a lot of hardware out there and there's going to be a lot of complaints. I'm laughing because I think about how much people complain about their Apple chargers going out or their Apple headphones. This seems to be something that doesn't really hurt companies as much as it used to. I think with Roku, look, tough sledding over the next quarter or two, we think in terms of device penetration. We'll see how the software and ad sales are going. But if you're looking for the one company that may win the streaming wars from a platform perspective, I think Roku is a pretty good bet. So going into earnings, I like looking at it from the perspective of, will this earnings release give me an opportunity to start looking at a longer term position? And I'm hopeful that it will.